Hello and welcome to another Magic the Gathering unboxing. So today we're going to be taking a look at the booster battle pack that's recently been released around about the time of Shadows over Innistrad. There's been a bit of a delay. It wasn't released at the same time as the set was released. But it'd be interesting to see how this compares with previous booster battle packs, because it's not a new thing. Some sort of intro pack has been around for an awful long time, generally in Magic. There's been starter sets for core sets and various other configurations where they've used sort of two decks and then some customizable component like either two booster packs or a single special booster pack to allow two players to take, effectively a minimal deck, in this case a 30 card deck, and then change it out using some random cards. We have actually seen booster packs before, or booster battle packs before, and they were around the time of Magic 2012, I believe. Those were around for a couple of years. There was a few more of them around the time of Return to Ravnica, where they actually released one for the first two sets in the Return to Ravnica block, but then they just got discontinued. We had the Clash packs come in, which were basically two 60 card decks, which you could then use to create one single deck. Both of those 60 card decks were standard legal, but now we've seen a return to the booster battle pack. So it'd be interesting to see the regularity with which these are released. I think what they're actually, I don't know exactly what they're going to do, whether it's going to come out every single set, but we'll just see. Like I said, the previous battle pack, wasn't in operation for that long. I think they did it about 5 times over the course of several sets. So, whether or not they're just going to do this on the largest set of the two, or it's every set. The other interesting thing about this is if anybody's been along to a store and been given there's a free product that's often kicks around in Magic. They've done it with core sets, but there's I think they call them a welcome deck. So there's a 2016 welcome deck. It's basically a 15 card deck that is monocolour. And stores should be sort of giving them these out for free to entice new players. You've probably seen me open them before on the channel. This, my understanding is, this is what is also contained in here. So the two single card 30 card Magic decks are actually the same decks that Wizards give out as these 2016 welcome decks. But we'll see. I've got a list up off camera, so I'll probably be able to cross-check when I come to open these whether that's the case. Whereas with the previous battle packs, what you had was the 30 card decks they gave you were 2-colour decks. And I think there were probably 10 possible different combinations. Here we've only got 5 different decks. And it'll be interesting to see if anybody's ever opened a pack where they just contain the same deck. So we'll have a look. So two single colour 30 card Magic decks, 2 Shadows over Innistrad 15 card booster packs, and a Magic quick reference guide. Another way of looking at this is, I suppose, as a variant on Pack Wars. Unwrap the decks and decide which player gets which deck. Each player opens a booster pack and chooses up to 5 cards of their deck's colour to add to their deck. Shuffle and play. It'd be interesting to see how much on colour you'll get with a 15 card deck. Okay, we have blue. Sphinx of Magosi. Actually, I wonder if these decks are actually made up of the subset that I was talking about, I think, when I did the Deck Builders Toolkit. This subset of cards. You can see here we've got a slightly different logo with the number 16 on it to signify 2016. So it might be that these cards are all from that subset of Magic. We'll see. Okay, let's try and stop this shining too much. So we have Sphinx of Magosi. So this is the rare in our mono blue deck. 3 colourless, 3 blue for a 6/6 creature Sphinx with flying. This creature can't be blocked except by creatures with flying or reach. 2 in a blue, draw a card, then put a 1/1 counter on Sphinx of Magosi. Catalogue, you get to draw 2 cards, then discard a card for 2 in a blue. There's an island, Air Servant, 4 in a blue for 4/3 with flying, and 2 in a blue, tap target creature with flying. So we've got artwork here from Shadows over Innistrad, and interestingly, for instance here, Cloud Manta, we can see that this is actually from the previous block. This is from the Return to Zendikar block. Cloud Manta. And pour over the pages. Other islands, Sleep Paralysis, Coral Harm Guide. It's an island, Stitched Mangler. Yeah, I called it Return to Zendikar. It's actually Battle for Zendikar. Ancient Crab, Roiling Waters, Blighted Cataract. So we've got some non-basic land in here. More islands, another Ancient Crab, Niblis of Dusk, flying and prowess on that. Sweep Away, Amura Entangler, an island, another island, Sleep Paralysis again, more land, and a Disperse. So you can see some of these have that sort of subset Magic 16 logo on them, but we've got a number of cards here from the last couple of blocks, basically. Okay, so that's our mono blue deck. I'm just going to look off camera and just check to see how that compares with the list that I have up for the... Yeah, so these decks are basically... oops. What are they called? The 2016 Welcome decks. So that's essentially what the deck list is here. So I'll have a look at the red deck. You can see Shivan Dragon, the lead card in this one. So Shivan Dragon, 4 colourless, 2 red for 5/5 creature dragon with flying, has fire breathing on it, so single red, Shivan Dragon gets +1/+0 until end of turn. Rolling Thunder, X and 2 red sorcery, Rolling Thunder deals X damage divided as you choose among any number of target creature and or players. Borderland Marauder, I guess a +2/+0 buff when it attacks. So here's again our land from Shadows over Innistrad. Devouring Flames, it's a direct damage spell, 5 damage to a target creature or planeswalker with an extra cost of retaining a land you control to its owner's hand. Lava Step Raider, another card with this ability here, slightly more expensive fire breathing here, so 2 and a red. Lava Step Raider gets +2/+0, so slightly bigger boost there on the power for that. Cone of Flame, 1 damage to target creature or player, 2 damage to another target creature or player, and 3 damage to a third target creature or player for 3 and 2 red at sorcery speed. More mountain. Spark Mage Gambit. So we're seeing a lot of sort of direct damage in this deck and buffing of power. Hulking Devil, this is just a vanilla 3 and a red 5/2. Outnumber, deals damage to target creature equal to the number of creatures you control, single red. So Mountain again, and you can see that the cards are from both the Battle for Zendikar block and the sort of special subset, Magic 16 or whatever they're calling it. Valakut Invoker, Borderland Marauder, Blighted Gorge, Mountains, Brute Strength, Pump Spell, basically instant speed with Trample on it as well. Cinderhelion, Mountain, it's a Hulking Devil, so that's one from the most recent set. More land, another Brute Strength, Mountain and a Pyrehound. 3 and a red 2/3, trample whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, put a +1/+1 counter on Pyrehound. So direct damage and pump with counters as well. So that's going to be boosting that both just is last till end of turn, but also boosting that will stay there because of counters. So it's a sort of mixed bag of really classic red things. Stuff that red does. So what you're getting with these, I think, is very much, monocolor specific archetypes, and these, you might call them the classic, Shivan Dragons, been around for an awful long time in Magic, and the blue lead card that we saw, Sphinx of Magosi, is obviously hasn't been around necessarily as long. But it's another sort of classic blue card there. Okay, so let's look at our two packs. So if we open up this one, so what we're looking really here is for cards. Supposing I was the blue player opening this pack, let's see what we would get. And obviously what you could do is, once you've done that, you could swap these around. Or just basically put them together, and then one player picks the best blue in this case, and the other the best red. So we've got Angelic Purge, which is not on colour at all. We're going through our commons first. Vessel of Paramnesia, white and a blue. What am I saying? White and blue. One and a blue for an enchantment. Single blue, sacrifice Vessel of Paramnesia. Target player puts the top 3 cards of his or her library into his or her graveyard. Draw a card. Now this is interesting because this isn't necessarily, this isn't in keeping with the mill. I don't think there's any mill in this blue deck at all. There is card draw in here, and there is tapping down and prowess and a few other things, flying, but I didn't see any mill. But what's interesting, of course, when you're playing up against a 15 card deck, if you've got a single card in this deck which is causing your opponent to effectively mill 3 cards, then that's a pretty big thing in effectively such a small deck. So might be okay in blue, even though there isn't a mill theme here, enough to just disrupt your opponent. Chaplain's Blessing, so that's not on colour. Ethereal Guidance. Hound of the Farbogs. Senseless Rage, so we have something on red here. Obviously not good for if this was our blue players pack, but anyway, we'll look at both the red and the blue cards here, I think. 1 and a red, enchantment or enchanted creature. Enchanted creature gets +2/+2. Madness. 1 and a red. If you discard this card, discard it into exile. When you do, cast it for its madness cost or put it into your graveyard. So this you're not going to be able to cast for your madness cost unless there's any madness and labelers in the red deck, which again I don't remember anything sticking out, but I wasn't going through it in great detail. But it is in keeping with the sort of buffing of that deck. There was power buffing, there was counters, so we've got +2/+2 here. Sangri Mage, 1 and a red, a 1/3 with prowess. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, this creature gets +1 and +1 until end of turn. So obviously that's going to be triggered by any non-creature spells that might be in that red deck. We saw there was a few direct damage spells in there, which this would trigger the prowess on here. Byway Courier, so that's in green. Grotesque Mutation. Runaway Carriage is an artifact, so you could play it in either deck. 4 colourless for 5/6 with trample. When Runaway Carriage attacks or blocks, sacrifice it at the end of turn, so it's not going to be in play for very long. Dance with Devils, 3 and a red, put 2/1/1 red devil creature tokens into play. They have, when this creature dies, it deals 1 damage to target creature or player, so it's basically going to ping it for 1 damage when it dies. Nearheath Chaplain, and our rare here is an off-colour rare for our blue or a red deck. It's Silver Fur Partisan, 2 and a green, 2/2 creature wolf warrior with trample. Whenever a wolf or werewolf you control becomes the target of an instant or sorcery spell, put a 2/2 green wolf creature token onto the battlefield. Now, of course, this particular set has double face cards. So in here, this is our double face card. So we've got Neglected Heirloom, single colourless. Equipped creature gets +1/+1. When equipped creature transform Neglected Heirloom. Equipped for 1, and on the flip side we have Ashmouth Blade. Equipped creature gets +3/+3 and has first strike equipped for 3. So our problem here is the deck as it stands doesn't have any creatures that are going to transform, so that's going to be a problem. We've also, because this is Shadows of Innsitrad, there's a chance that we're going to get one of these double-faced tick cards, and we have a clue token there. It's interesting. I don't know if this is actually going to work as a product, to be honest with you. For this particular set, I think one of the great things when they did it with core sets was that the simplicity of the core set cards actually lended itself better. And now, of course, if anybody's ever also played, I suppose, Pack Wars, which is similar to this, I've definitely found that Pack Wars, plays slightly better with core sets. Expose Evil, Deny Existence, so this is on colour card here. 2 and a blue, instant, counter target creature spell. If that spell is countered this way, exile it instead of putting it into its owner's graveyard. Devilhorn Fox, True Faith Sensor, so we've got an artifact here. This could go in either deck. Let's have a look and see whether it would be relevant in either deck. 2 colourless, artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 and has vigilance. As long as equipped creature is a human, it gets an additional +1/+0. Equipped for 2. So I just don't remember off the top of my head. I think, just trying to look through quickly, see if we've got any humans in the blue deck. Nope. What's that? Got fish and elementals, but no humans. And in the red deck, hounds, probably hounds, dragons, devils, Helions. Oh, there's a human warrior. So, yeah. Oh, and a human shaman. So our red deck, basically, we'd get that extra pump there. On a couple of cards, Goblin Warrior. Another human warrior. So not too bad really, when you're considering it's like a 30 card deck, and 3 of the cards there are human. Might be on reason. Rancid Rats is in here. Skulk and Death Touch. Dual Shot. Single red. Dual Shot deals 1 damage to each of up to 2 target creatures. So that would definitely be not out of place in our red deck. Quilled Wolf, Merciless Resolve, Lightning Axe, single red for an instant as an additional cost to cast Lightning Axe. Discard a card or pay 5. Lightning Axe deals 5 damage to target creature. This is interesting because this would enable, if you remember in the first pack, we had a card with Madness on it. So this would be a Madness enabler. But again, it's going to be, even within a 30 card deck, it's to get them to combo up right. It's a little bit dilute, but it's something you could try. Pale Rider of Trostad, Fleeting Memories, 2 and a blue, enchantment. When Fleeting Memories enters the battlefield, investigate. So we've got a use for our clue token here. Put a colourless clue token, artifact clue token onto the battlefield with 2 sacrifices card, draw a card. So we saw card draw in the deck, Sphinx of Magosi. So this would fit in with the that investigate. Whenever you sacrifice a clue, target player puts the top 3 cards of his or her library into his or her graveyard. So this is the second mill card we've seen. So we would now have 2 mill cards in our blue deck. Both of which was, so that's 6 cards in total out of a 30 card deck. Admittedly, that will be slightly more than 30 in the red deck because we would have added some cards. But I suppose it could be mill could be a thing. Drogskull Cavalry. So this is our rare. 5 and 2 white for 4/4 creature spirit knight with flying. Whenever another spirit enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 2 life. 3 and a white. Put a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying onto the battlefield. So not on colour for our deck, but it's an interesting card there. Convicted Killer, 2 and a red. So this is our flip card. 2/2 creature human werewolf. At the beginning of each upkeep, if no spells were cast last turn, transform Convicted Killer. 2, a Branded Howler. Creature werewolf. So 4/4. At the beginning of each upkeep, if a player casts 2 or more spells last turn, transform Branded Howler. So that would go with that piece of equipment that we got in our other pack. Want this card to represent a double face card, and there's a clue. So I think with these, to be honest, rather than assign a player a pack, it might be better to pull the 2 packs together, and then for each player to basically pick out the relevant colour cards and the artifacts. Now, in the case of artifacts, there you may have to introduce some sort of drafting rule when you're doing this, so that if there was an artifact that would be good in both decks, find some way of splitting that out. I don't know how that would work, but certainly I can see problems with assigning a particular pack to a particular player, just because of the way this particular set works. There's certain mechanics that work well together, and you could have enablers in one pack on colour but not in the other. So there we have it. There's our new version of the battle pack. And I'll just show you the artwork again on here. You can see the Shadows over Innsitrad artwork there. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.